Hello friends, today we are going to see the difference between Spring MVC and Spring WebFlex. So these days Spring WebFlex is become too much popular. So it's time to compare the differences between Spring MVC and Spring WebFlex so that we can understand why Spring WebFlex is getting popular. So the main agenda of using Spring WebFlex in our programming is because Spring WebFlex built on top of pure reactive programming. So at very high level, we can consider these are the differences between Spring MVC, or you can call Web Servlet, and uh, Web Reactive, which is we can also call Spring WebFlex. So Spring MVC is built on top of Servlet API, but when it is coming to Spring WebFlex, we can see, we can build with servlet or without servlet. By default, it is non-servlet technology. So we can call Spring WebFlex as a servlet agnostic because we can build with servlet or without servlet. So when it is coming to the Spring MVC, the default server is Tomcat, and when it is coming to the Spring WebFlex, the default server is Netty. But you can also change the server from Netty to Tomcat, so that option is there. And coming to the database connectivity, Spring MVC supports JDBC, which is our old Java database connectivity API, which is a blocking API. And recently, Spring started building a reactive relational database connectivity for non-blocking. So both will support Spring MVC and Spring WebFlex, but it is highly recommended to use R2DBC whenever we are using Spring WebFlex. But at this point of time, R2DBC project is not supporting by all the databases. It's being supporting only by Postgre, H2SQL, Microsoft SQL Server. MySQL is on the way. So if you are using DB2 or Oracle, so those databases are not having support for R2DBC. Coming to the data JPA, Spring MVC is supporting data JPA fully, but when it is coming to the Spring WebFlex, at this point of time, there is no support for data JPA. And coming to the NoSQL databases, so Spring MVC is going to support all NoSQL databases like MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, Elasticsearch. But coming to the Spring WebFlex, at this point of time, we have only support for MongoDB. So Cassandra and Couchbase, they are not yet introduced any reactive driver. So it will take some time to give the support to those databases. Okay, so coming to the performance, I will show a live demo. So how Spring WebFlex is going to behave. How Spring WebFlex is going to give a better performance when we are comparing with Spring MVC. So let's jump into the code. I, I am using Eclipse. So I feel comfortable using Eclipse. So if you use IntelliJ IDE or some other IDE, it's up to you. There is no problem. So go to Eclipse file, new Spring Starter project. I already installed the Spring Tools plugin. So that's why I'm able to create a Spring Starter project directly from Eclipse. So by default, it will not be available. So you have to install that plugin. So I already installed those. That's the reason why I'm able to create a Spring Boot project directly. So let's give the project name as MVC application. So I'm going to use Java version 8, and I will say simple Spring Boot MVC application as the description, and the package name is com.uvintech.springboot.mvc, and even the group ID also com.uvintech.springboot.mvc. Click next. Let's select Spring MVC as a starter. Next, finish. So Eclipse will take a while to create the project and upload it into Workspace. I think it's done. So let's expand the project. think it's going on. Let's hold for a moment. Almost all it's completed. So let's have a look. So Eclipse is created a Spring Boot application for us, a basic template. So let me quickly write a controller. I'm going to write a simple hello controller, and I'm going to keep this in the controller package. Click finish. Let's annotate this with a Rust controller. Let's write a very simple get mapping with endpoint hi, which is going to return a very simple string saying say hello. Okay, and I'm going to write a service layer here because let's let's make it like we are getting the data from the database, right? Something like that. So I'll call service.say hello. So let's do auto where the service. So this class is not available. Let's create the class hello world service, and let's keep this in the service layer. Okay, let's go back, just save the file. So the method is missing. Let's to add the method, the service layer. Fine. So here I am going to return a very simple message. Hello my dear, welcome to Spring Boot MVC, which is blocking API. And here I'm going to make each thread to sleep for 10 seconds. Okay, just a moment. My Eclipse got hang. Yeah, it is responding now. So I'm going to do time unit dot seconds dot sleep, and let's make it to sleep every thread for 10 seconds. So let's surround this with try catch. So we are done, and I'm going to run my service on port number 8081. So let's give server.port equals to 8081. So we are done with building application. So let's quickly start this application as a Java application. Go to browser. Type localhost 8081 slash hi. So yeah, so the service is not started because we forgot to add edge service on top of service class. Fine. So after doing this change, come back to MVC application, start the application. This time it would be starting successfully. Yep. So the service is started. Let's go to browser and send the request. So we made the thread to sleep for 10 seconds. So it will take 10 seconds to give the response back. So let's wait for 10 seconds to get the response. Yep. So we got the response. So if I send the request for one more time, again it will take 10 more seconds to give the response. Okay. So now I'm going to test this service with 600 threads. Okay, we will write a separate client program. So we will hit this service with 600 requests at a time with 600 different threads. Okay, so let's see how our service is going to perform. So when we do such a huge load. So let's quickly create another service. So I'm going to give the name as client application, and let me remove this springboot.mvc. I'll call springboot.client. The package name also springboot.client. Click next, and I'm going to use web client, not REST template. So we need reactive web because web client is present inside reactive web. Okay, so it is a simple client program. As per the Spring, we're not supposed to use REST template because it's in the maintenance mode. Okay, so I'm not interested to use REST template. So the project creation is almost done. Let's wait for a moment uh, to get the project created. So close all these files. Let's open client application. So let the client application run on 8080 port. That is the default port. We no need to do any changes. So once this file is open, so I will write a simple code to invoke the MVC application with 600 threads at a time. Yes, it's open. So let's quickly write a command line runner code. So we can give any name to the method. So I'm just giving start. So I'm going to write a lambda expression as an implementation for command line runner. So there we go. So here I'm going to write code to invoke MVC application with 600 threads parallelly. So let's start. Let's log the time. So start time equals to so let's create a web client object. It's actually an interface. So it has utility methods to create that object. So I'm going to use those methods. So builder dot base URL. So where is my service is running, which is running on port localhost 8081, and the request URI is /hi dot build. The web client is ready. So let's write a for loop. Yeah. So before writing the for loop, let's create executor service, because we are going to hit the service um, with 600 threads, right? So executor service ES equals to, again, it's an interface. So we have a utility class called executors to create the executor service. So let's do executors dot new fixed thread pool. So I'm going to give 600 threads. Okay, so let's do submit 600 tasks. So int I equals to 0, I less than 600, I plus plus. So we are going to submit 600 tasks. So that's why we are looping 600 times. Okay, so I'm going to print the number for our reference purpose. So final int j equals to 1, sorry, I, and es dot submit. So here I'm going to write a lambda expression for runnable. So run method doesn't take any arguments. So it is just open close curly braces and arrow followed by lambda expression body. So here I'm going to call the service. Okay. So which is going to be web client dot get. We are going to send get method dot I'm going to use retrieve dot body to mono, and so the response get it converted into string. Finally, block. So we are going to get the message. Let's print the message on the console saying that so response from service. Let's print the response. Let's also print the I value. The number of requests, right? So once everything is done, sorry, it is not a response, it is a message. Done. So now let's shut down the executor service. So once everything is done, okay, sorry, let's shut down this outside of the for loop. Once all the tasks are completed, yes, once our task, all our tasks are submitted, let's shut down the executor service and let's print the time. So until executor service is terminated, let's print the time. Okay. So system.out.println. So I'll say um, system dot current time in millis minus start time, right? Yeah. So it's going to print the complete time, right, to process all the requests. So we are going to submit 600 requests, and let's see how much time our MVC application is going to take to handle these 600 requests. So by defaultly, MVC application is running on Tomcat server. We know the Tomcat server thread pool count is 200. So at a time, 200 threads will be processed, 200 requests will be processed. So all these 600 requests will be processed as 3 batches. So 3 into each thread will wait for 10 seconds, right? So totally 3 into 10, 30 seconds time it will take. Minimum 30 seconds time it should take to complete all these 600 requests. So let's do test this and let's confirm whether it is taking 30 seconds or more than 30 seconds. So I started the client application. So you see that 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5. It's printing in milliseconds, right? So divided by 1000 we have to do. So 10 seconds. So we are also getting the responses printing in between. So once the processing is completed, then the executor service will terminate and it will stop printing that time. So it took 33 seconds, right? So it took 33 seconds to complete the 600 requests. As I told, it will take minimum 30 seconds because Tomcat default thread count is 200. So if you send 600 requests, so 200 into 3, so it's 200 divided by 600. So it's going to be 3 batches. So each batch will be processed in 10 seconds, right? So minimum 10 seconds because we are making the thread to sleep for 10 seconds. So if I send 200, then it will take 10 seconds. If I send 400, it will take 20 seconds, minimum 20 seconds. If I send 600, it will take 30 seconds. If I send 800, it will take uh, 40 seconds, right? So if I send 1000, then it will take 50 seconds. So it's all like divided by 200, and each batch will take minimum 10 seconds because we are making the thread to sleep for 10 seconds. So now what we will do, we will try to implement the same functionality in reactive programming, and we'll see how much the total time the reactive programming, which is Spring Webflex, take to process this. Okay, so let me stop the client application. Let me stop the service application. So let's create a separate project for reactive programming. Okay, so I will call this application as reactive application, or else web flex application, and I will give the package name as webflex. Group ID and package name ID package both are same, and webflex application, application and Java version is JDK 1.8. Click next, and we need a reactive web because we would like to build a Spring Webflex project. So click next, click finish. So Eclipse will be taking a while to create the project and import it into. Let's wait for a moment. Meanwhile, let's close all these files. Yes, the project is created. Sorry, my Eclipse is little slow. Let's hold him for a moment. Yeah, um, let's open Webflex project. So here also I'm going to create same hello controller. It's a more or less it's the same code. Um, okay, so right click. I don't know, something is running in the background which is making my Eclipse to get hang. So let me kill that process. So there is some class path notification. So let's kill all those processes. So just for a moment. Yeah, Eclipse is restarted. So let's get into Webflex project. Create a simple hello world controller. So however we did it in the MVC. So let's do the same thing here. So let's move this into controller package. Let's annotate this class with a REST controller. The only difference you notice between the Spring MVC and Spring Webflex is whereas the Spring MVC returns a raw type and Spring Webflex returns either mono or flex. Okay, so first let's add get mapping. So the mapping is going to be high and public. The return type is not a string, it's supposed to be mono of string. So the mono is nothing but reactive stream publisher implementation. So um, so we need to implement the code which in a way like reactive stream implementation model. So mono is a reactive stream publisher implementation for Spring Webflex. So I'm going to return the same thing here. So let's do auto while, just like how we did it in the MVC. So let's write a service here also. So it's going to be hello service. and let's create a class called hello service and move this into service package instead of controller. Yeah, so let's go ahead and call hello service dot say hello. So this method is not there. Let's create the method. Yes. So here also we are going to return mono of string. So before doing that, let's do annotate this with that service. Come down. Yeah. So here how we did, just like in MVC, here also we need to make the thread to sleep for 10 seconds. But it is not like time unit dot seconds dot sleep. So we need to write the code in a reactive model. So it's going to be mono dot delay. So let's make the response delay for um, 10 seconds and dot. So the message I'm going to give, hello my dear, welcome to Spring Flex non-blocking API. Yep. So here again we are making the thread to sleep for 10 seconds. For sure we will get the response after 10 seconds only. So this is our old imperative code model. This is the functional model, functional coding style. So in reactive programming, we have to use reactive operators to make the thread to sleep, not using time unit. Okay, so once these changes are done, let's come back to application.properties. Let's make the server to start on port number 8082. So we started MVC application on 8081. So let's start this service on 8082. So we are done with all the changes. Let's go ahead and start the service. So as I told earlier, this Spring Webflex project is going to start on Spring Netty server. Yeah. So you can see that in those details are going to be printed on the console. So here it's going to be, application is going to be started on Netty server. So this application is started. Now let's go to browser and send the same request, but with a different port 8081. As I told earlier, so we have to wait for 10 seconds to get the response. Okay. Yes. So whenever we are sending one thread, you don't see the difference. It will still give the response after 10 seconds only, but we will send the 600 threads. Okay, yeah, it is waiting for 10 seconds to give the response. Yeah, but now how we are going to test this application, it's not a with a single thread. So we will go to client application and we will trigger all 600 threads to Webflex project, not to MVC. So we need to change the port number. So it's 8082, and let's see how much time Webflex is going to take to process 600 requests, right? So let's run the code. Just focus on the console, how much time it's going to take to process 600 requests. So for sure it won't take 30 seconds, approximately it will take 20 seconds. So you see a 10 seconds difference between Spring MVC and Spring Webflex for 600 requests processing. So it's taking 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we are done with 20. So it took 22 seconds, right? And it processed all the 600 requests. Okay, it processed all the 600 requests. Yes. So so this is what is the difference between Spring MVC and Spring WebFlex. So whenever you have more number of threads with the blocking, it's like DB, why we are doing that blocking programmatically, because you can assume like this blocking, this time delay can be a DB call, or this time delay can be a service call. So when you have a DB interaction, or when you have a service interaction, or when you have a MQ interaction, so that delay is going to be automatically taken care by Spring WebFlex. So what exactly is happening in case of Spring WebFlex? So actually thread won't wait until it gets the response. It will go and process the next available request. So that is not is happening in the Spring MVC. So that's why it is taking minimum 30 seconds to process the request. But when it is coming to Spring WebFlex, it won't wait until the response is coming back from the service. So it will delegate the responsibility to a worker thread, and it will go and the server thread will go and take the next available task in the queue. Okay, so that is the reason why we are able to process the request before 30 seconds. So let's stop this service, and let's test it for one more time. And there you don't see that much difference. It will be 22 or 23 seconds only, not 30 seconds. Okay, so that is the reason why the world is too much interested about Spring WebFlex, which is reactive programming. So if when it is a reactive programming, you will see the performance will be increased, and in microservices architecture we can process more requests. So that is what it is required for microservices. Okay, so I hope you understand uh, the difference between Spring MVC and Spring WebFlex with respect to performance. Other than performance, these are the differences we have between Spring MVC and Spring WebFlex, which is blocking API versus non-blocking API. Thank you all.